死んだは初めて俺に伝えている。
絶望のノエだ。
面白いこと見せようか。ほら、こんなにチンが多すぎて。
お父さん。
あかん。
ドナルド君はまだ死ぬ時じゃないでしょ。
アメリカ万歳ファイト。
絶対負けないよ。
ランドトライドまで
出ろ。だってまだサンキュー言ってないでしょ。一回も言ってください。
おい、仲良くしてね。この世界季節にいけるかな。昔グレートだと大きにまたグレートになるかな。あのさ、有名人なら誰かのマンコ掴んでいいさ。そう言い放せるで。
What's going on, everybody? Welcome into CobraCast 199. I am your host, Jeremy Prime, Mage of the 199. Happy to see all of you here tonight. And I need the full-length movie of that. I need it right now. It'll be $1 billion film. It'll be the greatest film of all time. It'll be the highest-grossing film of all time. We need that right now. It has to happen. It has to happen. But hope everybody's doing well tonight. Good to see all of you. Sorry that I was not here on Friday. If you were watching, the end of the stream, you saw that I had some family stuff going on. So we're here. We're back. We're live. And we're in for a great week here at CobraCast and Geeks and Gamers. It's going to be a lot. We have a lot going on. I spent the weekend on Locals covering content for our Locals members over there, and it was actually a lot of fun. We watched the UFC fight with our Locals members, and then we watched the Masters on Sunday, which was a hell of a stream, and that was a wild roller coaster ride. But McElroy brought it home. I was happy to see that. So hope you're all doing well. It's been a busy day in the world of news for sure. There's a lot to talk about. So we're going to get into all of that here momentarily. Just want to give everybody time to get in here. And let's see who we got here. Jared Armstrong says Arnold Palmer was all man. When he was in the showers, the other pros would say, "Oh my God, that's unbelievable." The fact that Trump said that, so that kind of goes back to our our local stream where I had to pull that up and play that. But yeah, the Arnold Palmer, only Trump would do this. Only Trump would do something like this. Here it is right here. This is Trump talking about Arnold Palmer. Dude, Trump is like one of a kind. Here we go.
But Arnold Palmer was all man. And I say that in all due respect to women, and I love women. But this is a guy that was all man. His man was strong and tough. And I refuse to say it, but when he took showers with the other pros, they came out of there, they said, "Oh my God. That's unbelievable."
Oh man, only Trump, dude. Why would you even say that? Why would you even say that? So freaking good, man. Anyway, we've got some Trump clips to react to today. So he was in typical form today. He absolutely destroyed ESPN, CNN, which same thing, ESPN, CNN, they're all the same thing. But he absolutely destroyed them today. I actually did a video on it, but I don't know how many of you got a chance to see that video. So I will show you the full clip. Also, something kind of interesting just happened about an hour ago before I went live. And I think we'll go ahead and talk about this now. It's very, very interesting. Very interesting, ladies and gentlemen. Carmelo Anthony, who brought a knife to a high school track meet and allegedly fatally stabbed 17-year-old Austin Metcalf, has been released on $250,000 bond. It was $1 million. Now it's down to $250,000. I'm assuming Tim Pool paid the whole amount. I'm assuming Tim Pool decided to pay the whole amount. If you know, you know. Here's what I'm wondering. Why aren't cities burning to the ground, ladies and gentlemen? Oh, that's right. That's right. It's not a white person. Yeah, because, of course, this is a white person that was walking free. Cities would be burning to the ground. The mainstream media would be, participating in all of this as well. But because, it's Carmelo Anthony who killed a white person, there's not going to be these cities burning to the ground. Just the facts of the matter. And, that's just how it is, unfortunately. It's ridiculous. So I can't imagine how the family of Austin Metcalf feels right now, knowing that this person allegedly murdered their son and, of course, gets to walk free because of social justice, because this is social justice right here. Because it's not about truth. It's not about facts. It's not about reality. It's about agendas. And that's really what this comes down to. The people that are invested in this story on the pro Carmelo Anthony side don't care about the story. They care about the agenda involved with it. That's it. That's all it is. And that's just it. All you need is the slightest bit of common sense to understand what's going on right now. It's the same thing as, whenever there's a movie with propaganda in it, people that don't care about movies or these entertainment properties will pretend to care about something because there's an agenda, but they don't actually care about it in the long run. They just don't. And that's another case of what we're dealing with right here. So absolutely insane, to say the least. And I think there's another video. Let me see if I can find this video. I think I just bookmarked it. There's another video. Well, let's watch this clip first. I don't know if there's any audio to this. There's not any audio to this one. There might be audio to the next one. Doesn't sound like there's any audio. Oh, here we go.
We're up.
Carmelo, do you have anything that you'd like to say? Anything that you'd like to say to the victims, to the family of the victims? Why were you armed, sweetheart? Carmelo, why were you armed at school? Explain your self-defense. How is this self-defense?
Excuse me.
No, you like to say?
Yeah, mostly peaceful shake, says Bob Ross. Exactly. It was mostly peaceful, guys. Mostly peaceful. So what I think is, I think what we're prepping for here, unfortunately, is we're prepping for another Summer of Love situation, because that's going to be the threat. They're essentially going to hang the decision on what to do with this kid based on the fear and the threat of, well, if we convict him, we're going to have to deal with cities burning to the ground. So we might as well just let him off. That's really what this comes down to. That's the reason that they do these things, these social justice activists and the Democrats, the reason they allow these things to happen is because it's a negotiation tactic for them. So that's what's going to happen. That's exactly what's going to happen. Somebody says not the same situation. You're right, because fentanyl wasn't involved in the death here. So no, it's definitely not the same situation, because someone didn't overdose on fentanyl in this situation. There was actually a murder that took place. Someone was actually killed by another person. So you have a point. You have a point. Austin Metcalf did not OD on fentanyl. You are correct. So yes, it's not the same situation. Thank you for helping me clarify that. Solo Felix is wrong race, but totally not racist, guys. Z-Herb says that gay man doing gay things. Z-Herb says, are you happy to be in an oligarchy, Jeremy? Bernie said you are. He's fighting against it as he showed how strong he is against oligarchy. And Hillary. Yeah, the biggest coward in the world, Bernie Sanders, the biggest cuck in the world, Bernie Sanders. And that's what he does. That's what he does. Tired Retro Gamer says only Trump can be gay without being gay. It was a funny clip for sure. So get prepared for this case to have massive implications. And the Democrats and the mainstream media, the evil mainstream media, are 100% going to push racial division within this story. That's what's going to happen. Just watch him. Watch it play out. I'm predicting it right here, right now. The mainstream will 100% turn this into a racial division, and they're going to be nonstop about it. Now, you brought up the Bernie situation, and listen, as soon as I get the super chat, I'll tell you guys about this. Anthony for 50 says, what do you think with The Rock with a New Japan Pro Wrestling t-shirt? That guy shouldn't be locked up as well. That guy should not get away with anything. Well, he 100% should be locked up based on the information that we've been provided. I haven't seen anything with The Rock with the New Japan shirt on. New Japan's awesome, but I'm not sure why. I haven't seen that picture with The Rock, though, so I can't speak on that, but you are correct. That kid should be locked up based on the information that's out there. But guys, listen, Bernie and AOC did a rally. And listen, we're in trouble. Okay? We're in trouble. Now, I need to prepare all of you for the clip that I'm about to show. Okay? The clip that I'm about to show. I know there's been a lot of momentum for MAGA. There's been a lot of momentum for Trump. Trump is making America great again. He's, having impacts around the world. But I can only be honest with you, the wonderful viewer. And I'm telling you right now, Trump should be very, very scared. Trump should be terrified right now. Trump should cry himself to sleep because of this right here, ladies and gentlemen. It's over. It's over.
Turn me around, keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom land. Ain't gonna let those lousy billionaires turn me around, no, turn me around, no.
Oh, no. Oh, no. What are we doing? Whew, man. Yeah, that's really going to scare MAGA voters right there. I'm seeing if I can. Like the more that we see the Democrats just do anything, the worse it is for them. I mean, this is a disaster. Is this it? That's another clip. My God. So all Bernie Sanders is doing, and I think I shared, I commented on it. Let me see if I can find it. Bernie Sanders got really mad because our boy Mays actually shared this right here. And Bernie Sanders got mad about this clip that went viral. So this is Bernie Sanders from all the way to 1993, all the way up to 2025. Let's hear what Bernie has to say.
This great country of ours is moving very rapidly in the direction of oligarchy. The United States of America today is increasingly becoming an oligarchy. More and more moving toward an oligarchy. We are moving in the direction of oligarchy. We will move even more rapidly in the direction of an oligarchy. This great country is evolving into an oligarchic society. It is called oligarchy, and that is the system we are rapidly moving toward. This is a budget that moves our country rapidly into the direction of oligarchy. A handful of billionaires are moving this entire planet toward an oligarchic society.
Start off with the bad news, which is pretty bad, and that is that under Donald Trump, this country is hurtling rapidly toward oligarchy.
This
So, yeah, rapidly moving towards an oligarchy since 1993, everyone. Rapidly. I mean, it's just unbelievable. It's interesting how, it's like, okay, why weren't you talking about that after, 95? Interesting timing there. Started talking about it 2007 again. Went kind of quiet. You didn't talk about it during the Biden years. This guy's a fucking clown. Bernie Sanders. The idea, I saw this the other day, if I could find it. What's that fucking guy's name? What's that guy that does all of the interviews? He's boring as hell. He's had Joe Rogan on. He did an interview with Trump. Lex Freeman or Fridman or whatever his name is. So, and then let me see if I can find it, and I'll have to bookmark it and pull it up. Bernie Sanders. Okay. Yeah, let's see here. He had this this tweet. This is it right here. Okay, let me bookmark it. So this is how these clowns talk about Bernie Sanders, okay? They build Bernie Sanders up to be something that he's not. Bernie Sanders is a coward and a cuck. That's what he is. So just call him what he is. Right here it is. Okay? Look what Lex Fridman sits here and has to say. My conversation with Bernie Sanders, one of the most genuine and fearless politicians in recent political history. What? I want to read that one more time. Here's my conversation with Bernie Sanders, one of the most genuine and fearless politicians in recent political history. Good God. Friedman, that's his name? Okay. I don't really give a fuck because he's a fucking clown anyway. I responded to this too. I was like, one of the most genuine and fearless politicians in recent political history. That would be Trump. And that was like, yeah, back in October 2023 or October 23rd of 2024, that I responded to his sorry ass with that. Like, I just couldn't believe he said that. Like, he interviewed Trump, by the way, but he didn't say that about Donald Trump. He couldn't say that about Donald Trump, but he said it about Bernie fucking Sanders, calling Bernie Sanders genuine and fearless. Ridiculous. That there are liars all over the place. Lex Fridman is like, apparently he's thought of as like an independent free thinker who's part of the new media. That clown 100% would work for CNN in a heartbeat if they would give him a job. Absolutely would. He fits the mold perfectly, by the way. I'm not going to pretend to know a lot about him because honestly, I find him to be incredibly boring. I'm not sure why people sit through the guy's conversations and interviews. He is painfully boring. But let's see where we're at. Solo Felix is strange. It happens to white person. No cities burn. Isn't that interesting how that works out? JB username for 20 says, how dangerous is a Bernie AOC ticket? Wouldn't it split the Democratic vote? Sounds like a win to me. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to sit here and just dismiss a Bernie AOC ticket just because I don't like either one of them and I think they're both clowns. I don't want to sit here and just do that. But, it's like, I think that it definitely could get the base of the Democrats excited. But I also, like, it's hard for me to see that it could actually turn the needle for the Democratic Party. I think it can definitely get the base, the pronouns in bio weirdos, the tax the rich weirdos, all of those clowns, the TikTok generation. It 100% could get them motivated. My question would be like, how old's Bernie going to be? Isn't Bernie going to be like 95 years old? How old's Bernie? Bernie's 83 now. So if Bernie's 83 now, we're talking like 86, 87 years old. And then by the time, so he's in his 90s. If in theory they win, I don't see it, man. I just don't see it. Don't see it. Shadow Sand says, Jeremy, FNT 2350. They're 2 hours, 32 minutes, 50 seconds. What is that? Oh, or. All right, I'll see if I can find it. Oh, goodness. That's one of our favorite ones, but it's best when Beardo does it. It's best when Beardo does it. Ramtax says, though I don't believe itself, Austin didn't have a right to tell him to move and touch him either. This will be pleaded to manslaughter. Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is you brought a weapon onto a school function, into a school property. Like, I mean, and you were somewhere you shouldn't be. Like, there's no, if I'm just saying, the truth is, okay, we live in a world where, because of identity politics, police officers are not allowed to manhandle a criminal that is trying to beat the shit out of them. Police officers are not even allowed to defend them themselves in this crazy social justice world. The bottom line is, if the roles were reversed, the same crowd that's outraged for Carmelo Anthony would be outraged for Carmelo Anthony regardless. That's the problem right there. Let's see. Vloggy says, I wish I was black these days, could get away with a lot of crime. Jim says, Bernie is a nutcase. Yes, he is. Gerald Armstrong says, Fridman is an NPC. Mike Hill says, JD Vance has Butterfingers dropping in the national championship trophy. We're going to watch that. Anthony says, just sent a message on X with pics of The Rock in a New Japan t-shirt. Noted. I'll check it out. Could be Photoshopped too. I saw a clip. I don't know if I could find it. Like, I think we're at a point. A lot of times I'm on Instagram and I'll see like these videos of these guys jumping off buildings and all of these crazy things. And it's just like, there's no way people are really that crazy. There's no way that people are actually doing that. Well, the reality of it is that's true. They're not. Most of what you see on the internet is fake. Almost everything you're seeing on the internet is fake and it's photoshopped. And it's meant to basically demoralize you into thinking, oh, wow, I can't do these things, or I don't have that type of life, or I don't have this, or I don't have that. I'm trying to find that clip if I can. I don't know if I could find it though. But yeah, I mean, most of it is just, let's see. And then it's the world, right? Let's see. No, I can't find it. Oh, well, I'm not sure where it's at right now. But anyway, almost everything you see is photoshopped or something to that nature. So, Tinhead says, we need age limits for politicians and presidents. Brian K says, murder too. Maybe. Marco says, it'll be Penn Governor Shapiro for the Dems. They want the swing state back. Jeremy's Pink Hot Lips is greeting from the Netherlands. Love the show. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. All right, let's. Today was a funny day because President Trump really did destroy CNN. This really is fantastic right here. So you've got El Salvador's president there. Caitlin Collins from CNN decides to ask President Trump a very stupid question like she so often does. And this was glorious.
Let's hear the question from this very low-rated anchor at CB.
Thank you, President Trump. Do you plan to ask President Bukele to help return the man who your administration says was mistakenly deported? The man who was mistakenly deported to El Salvador?
Well, let me ask Pam, would you answer that question?
Sure, President. First and foremost, he was illegally in our country. He had been illegally in our country. And in 2019, two courts, an immigration court and an appellate immigration court, ruled that he was a member of MS-13 and he was illegally in our country. Right now, it was additional paperwork had needed to be done. That's up to El Salvador if they want to return him. That's not up to us. The Supreme Court ruled, President, that if, as El Salvador wants to return him, this is international matters, foreign affairs. If they wanted to return him, we would facilitate it, meaning provide a plane.
So will you return him?
And you are doing a great job. Thank you.
Not really. By the way, where's those Epstein files? But anyway, that's another discussion for another time.
Wait a minute. Can you just also respond to that question? Because, it's asked by CNN and they always ask it with a slant because they're totally slanted because they don't know what's happening. That's why nobody's watching them. But would you answer that question also?
Yes, gladly. So as Pam mentioned, there's an illegal alien from El Salvador. So with respect to you, he's a citizen of El Salvador.
Yeah, let's just make this clear. Caitlin Collins is all she cares about is a fucking illegal immigrant that is committing crimes. And she cares about it. Why? Because these are terrible, terrible people. Sarah for 20 says, if we have time, can we react to America's most racist town meets Charleston White? It's hilarious. Yeah, I could look that up. I don't know if I have time tonight, but I would like to react to more stuff like that in the future. So Eric K, if you can look that up for me and put that in the DM group, I will definitely check that out. Thank you, Sarah. Appreciate it. Panic and Skyfaller says, lately, I've been increasingly impressed by people like Kevin O'Leary, Bill Maher, glazing Trump, the president of El Salvador, owning the media, and Stephen Miller. Thank God he's on our side. Stephen Miller is a G. Stephen Miller is an absolute G. He really is. Chris Gonzalez says, it's not possible. No, it's necessary. Great freaking line right there.
So it's very arrogant even for American media to suggest that we would even tell El Salvador how to handle their own citizens as a starting point. As 2 immigration courts found that he was a member of MS-13. When President Trump declared MS-13 to be a foreign terrorist organization, that meant that he was no longer eligible under federal law, which I'm sure you know, you're very familiar with the INA, that he was no longer eligible for any form of immigration relief in the United States. So he had a deportation order that was valid, which meant that under our law, he's not even allowed to be present in the United States and had to be returned because of the foreign terrorist designation. This issue was then, by a district court judge, completely inverted, and a district court judge tried to tell the administration that they had to kidnap a citizen of El Salvador and fly him back here. That issue was raised to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said the district court order was unlawful, and its main components were reversed 9-0 unanimously, stating clearly that neither Secretary of State nor the president could be compelled by anybody to forcibly retrieve a citizen of El Salvador from El Salvador, who again is a member of MS-13, which, as I'm sure you understand, rapes little girls, murders women, murders children, is engaged in the most barbaric activities in the world. And I can promise you, if he was your neighbor, you would move right away.
So you don't plan to ask for it to get it back?
And
that-
what was the ruling in the Supreme Court, Steve? Was it 9-0?
Yes, there's a 9-0
In our favor.
in our favor against the district court ruling, saying that no district court has the power to compel the foreign policy function of the United States. As Pam said, the ruling solely stated that if this individual at El Salvador's sole discretion was sent back to our country, that we could deport him a second time.
Well,
No version of this legally ends up with him ever living here because he is a citizen of El Salvador. That is the president of El Salvador. Your questions about it per the court can only be directed to him.
I asked
¿Usted lo liberaría,
President Bukele, what is
Presidente
can President Bukele weigh in on this? Do you plan to return him?
Well, I'm supposed to have suggested that I smuggle a terrorist into the United States.
It's always
How can I return him to the United States? Like, I smuggle him into the United States, or what do I do? Of course, I'm not going to do it. It's like, I mean, the question is preposterous. How can I?
The question is preposterous. Yes. Even he's calling you out on it. You were hoping he would give you something, and he's calling you out on it.
Smuggle a terrorist into the United States. I don't have the power to return him to the United States.
You can release him inside El Salvador.
Yeah, but I'm not releasing. I mean, we're not very fond of releasing terrorists into our country. I mean, we just turned the murder capital of the world into the safest country of the Western Hemisphere, and you want us to go back into the releasing criminals so we can go back to being the murder capital of the world? That's not going to happen.
Well, they'd love to have a criminal,
Yeah, I mean, there's a fascination.
They would love it.
Yeah.
They're sick. These are sick people. Marco, do you have something to say?
Yeah, I mean, Stephen outlined it. I don't understand what the confusion is. This individual is a citizen of El Salvador. He was illegally in the United States and was returned to his country. That's where you deport people, back to their country of origin, except for Venezuela that wasn't refusing to take people back, or places like that. I can tell you this, Mr. President. No, the foreign policy of the United States is conducted by the President of the United States, not by a court. And no court in the United States has a right to conduct the foreign policy of the United States. It's that simple. End of story.
And that's what the Supreme Court held, by the way, to Marco's point. The Supreme Court said exactly what Marco said, that no court has the authority to compel the foreign policy function of the United States. We won a case 9-0, and people like CNN are portraying it as a loss, as usual, because they want foreign terrorists in the country who kidnap women and children. But President Trump, his policy is foreign terrorists that are here illegally get expelled from the country, which, by the way, is a 90-10 issue.
Well, Mr. President, you said that if the Supreme Court said someone needed to be returned, that you would abide by that. You said that on Air Force One just a few days ago. And they said that it must be facilitated.
Why don't you just say, isn't it wonderful that we're keeping criminals out of our country? Why can't you just say that? Why do you go over and over? And that's why nobody watches you anymore. You have no credibility. Please go ahead.
President Trump, thank you so much. How many illegal criminals are you planning on exporting to El Salvador? And necessarily, how many are you willing to take from the U.S.?
As many as possible. And I just asked the president, it's this massive complex that he built, jail complex. I said, can you build some more of them, please? As many as we can get out of our country that were allowed in here by incompetent Joe Biden through open borders. Open borders. You probably hear open borders and you can't even understand it because nobody can understand it. Nobody smart or with common sense can understand it. So we have millions of people that should not be in this country that are dangerous, not just people, because we have people, but we have millions of people that are murderers, drug dealers. They've been allowed to come into our country.
Dark Schwartz Rice says, one of these foreign heads of state show up to the White House like this. No tie. He's dressed like a shady nightclub owner. I don't disagree. He does look like kind of like a gangster or a mobster. So it's better than Zelensky, but I don't disagree. He does kind of like a nightclub owner.
By other countries that were very smart, when they heard that this very low IQ president, and by the way, I took my cognitive exam as part of my physical exam, and I got the highest mark, and one of the doctors said, sir, I've never seen anybody get that that was the highest mark. I hope you're happy with that. Although they haven't been bugging me too much to take a cognitive, but I did do my physical and it was released. I hope you're all happy with it.
So he's talking about his cognitive test and he's like, it's the best test ever. It's the highest test ever recorded.
Murderers, drug dealers, they've been allowed to come into our country by other countries that were very smart. When they heard that this very low IQ president, and by the way, I took my cognitive exam as part of my physical exam, and I got the highest mark. And one of the doctors said,
the highest mark, everybody, the highest mark. All right.
I just feel like a young man. I'm so young. I can't believe it. I'm the youngest person. I am a young, vibrant man. I look at Joe. I don't know about him. I don't know. Macho man, yeah. Sir, I've never seen anybody get that that was the highest mark. I hope you're happy with that. Although they haven't been bugging me too much to take a cognitive. I did do my physical and it was released. I hope you're all happy with it. I notice there's no questions, and probably you are. But the cognitive, they said to me, sir, would you like to take a cognitive test? I said, did Biden take one? No. Did anybody take one? No, not too many people took it. I said, what about Obama? Did he take one? No, he didn't take one either. I said, let me be the only one to take one. But I've actually taken them 3 times already. I like taking them because they're not too tough for me to take. But we had a great physical exam, so I know you're going to ask that. And the doctors who are total professionals, Walter Reed Medical Center, they're great people. And I visited a soldier that was badly wounded. incredible soldier. Lost his leg, and we spent a lot of time with him. I mean, great with his mother, and it was really a very great thing. They do a phenomenal job. I just want to say, Walter Reed, I was there for, 5-6 hours. You were there with me. But I took a full physical, and it came out perfecto, so that's good. She got me for a little longer.
Would you also be willing to pay for those facilities to be opened if new ones were going to be built?
I'd do something, we'd help them out. Yeah, we help them. They're great facilities, very strong facilities, and they don't play games. I'd like to go a step further. I mean, I said it to Pam. I don't know what the laws are. We always have to obey the laws, but we also have homegrown criminals that push people into subways, that hit elderly ladies on the back of the head with a baseball bat when they're not looking, that are absolute monsters. I'd like to include them in the group of people to get them out of the country, but.
And I regret to inform you, everyone, all right? It's no longer 6'3", 215. It's no longer 6'3", 215. Trump has added 9 pounds of muscle. He is now 6'3", 224 pounds. Absolute specimen. Absolute specimen. They asked him to main event the UFC fight. He says, I'm busy making America great again. So he added pure muscle. So it's 6'3", 224 pounds. Yes, RFK has been training him. RFK's training him. CNN gets more views on Fox than their own channel. That is true. That is true. More people see CNN stuff on Fox than they do their own channel. Absolutely. Cognitive exam says act natural. All right, let's continue on right here.
You'll have to be looking at the laws on that, Steve, okay?
How essential is it for you guys to be locking up these prisoners? And do you think more presidents should follow suit like you guys as far as taking a hard stance on crime here in the United States?
Well, I do. I think everybody has to. The president said it better than anybody. He said, you have liberty and you have to have liberty, but to have liberty, not everybody is going to be good. And, some are bad because they're sick. They're mentally deranged. They're bad.
Why do you
Then you have to take them. If you're going to have a country, you're going to have to take those people out. And we've been doing that. But this was like an unforced error, they would call it, where we had people that may hate our country, or maybe they're just stupid people. I think they're probably stupid people more so. A lot of people said they did it for the vote, but I did better with Hispanic people than they did, because they always use Hispanic. I did better. You people love me. I saw my poll numbers in your country. I'm through the roof, right? 91%. No, some people think they do it for the vote, but they don't have to do it for the vote. They cheat, they're professional cheaters. That's about the only thing they do well. So we just have had a great relationship, and it's become bigger because of a strange thing that happened. I came back. We had no war in Ukraine. We had no war we had no October 7th Middle East problem. We had nothing. We had no inflation. We didn't have the Afghanistan most embarrassing moment in the history of our country, the Afghanistan, not withdrawing, because I would have been out, I had it all set to bring people out with dignity and pride. That was the worst, most embarrassing moment in the history of our country, Afghanistan. We didn't have any of that.
I love that he just goes on these the weaves, as he calls them. You've got a world leader sitting there. You've got your whole entire cabinet around you, and he's just in his element. Nobody is like this dude, man. Udite says, I watched the Face of the Nation coverage of the deportation you talked about in your earlier video. The lies and spin were off the charts. I've seen BS from that side, but this was next level. Absolutely. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I did a couple truck videos today. I like making the truck videos. I just enjoy it. So I, we'll see how those do. I'll probably do more of those. Joe Bitt says, do you think Trump will show up at WrestleMania? It's interesting because Triple H had some really nice things to say about Trump on what was he on? He was on a podcast. What's that guy's name? Trump was on the same podcast. It's that comedian guy. Whatever his name is. I can't keep up with these guys. But either way, Triple H had a lot of nice things to say. Flagrant, that's it, Flagrant. Andrew Schultz, yes, that guy. So he was on there, and Triple H had some nice stuff to say about Trump. I don't think Trump shows up at WrestleMania. I don't, but I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll see. John freaking Murdoch for 50 says, sorry, I won't see you in Vegas, but I'm not going anyway. The Dems sure love their olds. They keep voting for them when they are in their 70s and 80s. People would have voted for Biden if his body was available 100%. I was about to say, oh man, I'm sorry I'm not going to see you in Vegas, John, but you got me. John freaking Murdoch for 50. Yeah, obviously, I do. I've got a lot going on, IRL stuff, with family right now. There's just a lot on my plate. So I just cannot, there's just no way I can get away to go to Vegas right now. So my apologies, but I know Ryan's going to be there. Beardo's going to be there. I think Steph's going to be there. We've got some other peeps that are going to be there. So it's going to be awesome. And I hope you guys have a great time at the Vegas meetup. Sad that I won't be there and John won't be there clearly. But next time for sure.
You wouldn't have had the war with Russia, Ukraine. You wouldn't have had the Middle East problem because Iran was broke. They had no money because we had secondary sanctions on and lots of other sanctions. And now every single thing got a problem with Iran, but I'll solve that problem. That's almost an easy one. We got to solve a war that should have never started, Ukraine and Russia, and we'll get that solved. And we have to solve problems, and we already solved inflation. If you look at the numbers are incredible, actually. The stock market's up, and we're not letting other countries take advantage of this country like they have for the last 40 years. So thank you very much. You have a question, please?
Yes, Mr. President, thank you so much. You scored another major investment win this morning when NVIDIA pledged to build its AI supercomputer, the first time ever, right here in the United States.
Thank you. That's a question I like. That's true.
What is your reaction to this announcement, sir, and how will this positively benefit Americans across America?
Well, it's one of the biggest announcements you'll ever hear because NVIDIA, as you know, controls that almost the entire sector, which is one of the most important sectors in the world between chips and semiconductors and everything else. And they're the biggest. And the other biggest we already have coming in is spending $300 billion, as you know, they announced 2 weeks ago. But NVIDIA is so highly respected. And this was an announcement that a lot of people, I knew it was going to happen, but not to the extent that it happened.
Yes, that was announced earlier today, this NVIDIA deal, manufacturing within the USA. Huge deal, massive deal.
And it's big. And the reason they did it is because of the election on November 5th. And because of a thing called tariffs, as I say, the most beautiful word in the dictionary. After love, God, relationship, the press actually hit me and said, tariff is the most beautiful word in the dictionary. What about family, love, God? I got hit even on that. You understand? I said, okay. So now I say it's my fifth most favorite word because they get you on anything. But no, that NVIDIA, it's one of the great companies of the world, modern, super modern companies, controls segments that nobody, sort of controls the world in a sense. And they're coming in here in the biggest way with hundreds of billions of dollars, not like millions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars. And I'm honored by it. And I want to thank Jensen and all of the people that we deal with. They're great people, they're brilliant people. And without tariffs, they wouldn't be doing it.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily
Now,
Campagno.
we got
Catch me and my
we got this clip right here. See if I can find it. I think this is the clip right here. Not that one. There was another clip, if I can find it, that I wanted to show you guys from that. I'll look and see if I can find that one. But we did have CNN respond to President Trump right here. Listen to this.
Say
For the record, since we heard President Trump say in the Oval Office that CNN hates our country, CNN does not hate our country. That should go without saying. I've been here for 32 years. And
CNN absolutely hates the United States of America. That has been proven time and time and time again. And in fact, here we go right here.
Here's a breaking news. We live in a racist, sexist, homophobic, Islamophobic, anti-Semitic country.
Everything they're doing runs against making America great.
Well,
it was never great, so I'm not going to say the again part, but making America great.
Kicking off the Independence Day weekend, President Trump will be at Mount Rushmore, where he'll be standing in front of a monument of 2 slave owners and on land wrestled away from Native Americans, told that be focusing on the effort to, quote, tear down our country's history.
they strongly believe, these human smugglers, that this is their chance to enter the United States. This is their chance at the American dream. That's why they risk everything, only to find out that it's all a lie.
And when we got our freedom, our quote unquote freedom, we were never restored whole, which is why you hear about reparations. So until the United States atones for that and makes good on that, we're still living in a racist country.
Yes, CNN absolutely hates the United States of America. They have proven that time and time again. And anyone with a working brain and the slightest bit of common sense already knows that. But do you know who doesn't hate this country? One Alex Jones. Let's look at this amazing clip that I Find Retards found for us. The legendary Alex fucking Jones.
All this is a societal wrecking ball to destroy any semblance of normality, any semblance of basic human biology that you see in the bees and you see in the birds. Imagine if somebody in a demon outfit showed up next to a baby giraffe and said, "Hi, I'm a demon. Be inclusive. Don't be mean to me. Let me wear demon horns and come up and look like a complete alien from another planet. Let a space alien." By the way, this is a program. They dress up like space aliens all over the United States and all over the world. I told you, in horrible demon psychopath outfits that make Pennywise look beautiful. And they show up and they have their way with your children in demon outfits.
He's so right.
I mean, if you've got men that look like 400-pound goblin demons with your children, there's nothing you all put up with. There isn't a species on the planet that would let something that looks like a space alien get up close to its kids. But only in America does it happen, and I'm sick of it. I'm tired of it right now. I can't handle it more.
He is so right about everything he says. Oh, that's a great one right there, man. Woo! I think we got to get that one in the rotation of clips. That is truly one of the great clips right there. That is phenomenal. Holy crap. That is damn good. What is this? I saw this clip from Chuck Todd crying about President Trump. It's so good. Listen to this clown.
You know, if it's legal, I mean, deporting American citizens. I mean, look, there's no possible way it's legal at all. So, I mean, there is a challenge, I think, sometimes with covering Donald Trump. Donald Trump is somebody, I compare him to Anchorman. There's this scene in Anchorman, right, where the women go, he'll say anything you put in the teleprompter. Anything. Donald Trump will accept any premise. You go up to him right now and say, why isn't Japan a state? We won that war. We dropped 2 bombs. What are we doing? He'd say, you're right. And so then what's the headline? Oh, Donald Trump's thinking about annexing Japan. Like, this is the challenge in covering Trump, right? He will accept any premise. You can get a headline out of it. Yeah, I'd like to deport American citizens. Hey, would you deport Chuck Todd? Yeah, I'd love to deport that guy, right? Like, and all of it, so I say this because I think it goes back to this whole thing. When do you raise the 5-alarm fire on something like this? And when do you not waste time on it? And I think this is one of those stories.
And we've had. So ultimately, what Donald Trump is a grown-ass man. And he's a leader. and he is willing to have a conversation with another human being because he's not intimidated by that. He also has all the power, and he's not afraid to use that power. And beta males find that to be very intimidating. Oh my God, he's willing to talk to other people. He's willing to talk to people that disagree with him. He's willing to have conversations. Conversations are so scary. And so this really does bother them because the reality of who Trump is destroys their narrative of who they want you to believe Trump is for them. The reality of Trump destroys their fantasy of Trump because they have worked more than any group of people I've ever seen to demonize this man and turn him into, a modern day Hitler. And essentially, they've ended up turning him into an icon that will live forever. And they are still trying to figure out how this has happened and how they've been so wrong. And the only thing they can do is deny that they've been wrong and blame everyone else. And they are still just continuing to lose every single day. And case in point, and I'm sure a lot of you saw this, but I do want to cover this because I haven't had a chance to cover it. Bill Maher and his meeting with President Trump. It's the most on point thing as a Trump fan that like, if you've been following Trump, Bill Maher, I was not surprised by anything Bill Maher had to say. Now, I don't like Bill Maher and I don't trust Bill Maher. And my opinion of Bill Maher doesn't change. I have no better opinion of Bill Maher before or after this. He's the same person he always is. I don't trust Bill Maher. But it is interesting that he had the same interaction with President Trump that almost everyone that meets President Trump has. Donald Trump definitely blows people away because of the idea that they have built up in their own mind as to who they think he is. And then they sit down and then they find out, wow, he's not that guy at all. No shit, he's not. He understands entertainment. He understands exactly what he's doing. And the idea is that why doesn't Donald Trump show this side of himself publicly? Because you motherfuckers would try to run all over it. Donald Trump knows exactly what he needs to be in the public, and he knows exactly who he needs to be behind closed doors when he's negotiating or having a conversation. This is it. Listen to what Bill Maher has to say.
Now, for what I know you've all been waiting for, I'd like to give you my book report on my visit to the White House. Okay, as you know, 12 days ago, I had dinner with President Trump, a dinner that was set up by my friend Kid Rock, because we share a belief that there's got to be something better than hurling insults from 3,000 miles away.
I don't know if you believe that, Bill Maher. I personally don't, because Donald Trump doesn't hurl insults from 3,000 miles away. Donald Trump responds to insults with counterpunches. Donald Trump does not hit first. He hits back. Bill Maher hits first and hits often. Not the same thing, by the way. Just want to clear that up right there. Bill Maher and Donald Trump are not the same person.
And let me first say that to all the people who treated this like it was some kind of summit meeting, you're ridiculous. Like I was going to sign a treaty or something. I have no power. I'm a fucking comedian, and he's the most powerful leader in the world. I'm not the leader of anything, except maybe a contingent of centrist-minded people who think there's got to be a better way of running this country than hating each other every minute.
Donald Trump doesn't hate anyone. Donald Trump is always reaching across the aisle, always trying to talk to people, always saying that he wants to have conversations. It's this deranged leftist, that foaming from the mouth that will never listen to anything that he has to say.
So, thank you. So, Okay.
Newcomb says, yes, he does. He hates Rosie. Newcomb, do some fucking research before you come into my chat talking shit. Rosie O'Donnell attacked Donald Trump first. Look it up, okay? I know research is hard. Get on your fucking overpriced piece of shit iPhone and look it up. Rosie O'Donnell attacked Donald Trump first. Donald Trump responded and ended it. Those are the facts. You don't have to like it, but those are the facts.
So meet up in person. Maybe it'll be different. Spoiler alert, it was. First good sign, before I left for the Capitol, I had my staff collect and print out this list of almost 60 different insulting epithets that the president has said about me. Things like stupid, dummy, lowlife dummy, sleazebag, sick, sad, stone cold crazy. Really a dumb guy, fired like a dog, his show is dead. There's 60. I brought this to the White House because I wanted him to sign it, which he did.
Yeah! Let's freaking go! Only Trump would sign a list of insults. It's the greatest shit ever.
Which he did with good humor. And I know as I say that, millions of liberal sphincters just tightened. Oh my God, Bill, are you going to say something nice about him? What I'm going to do is report exactly what happened. You decide what you think about it. And if that's not enough pure Trump hate for you, I don't give a fuck. Yeah. So
it's funny when even like someone with TDS is lashing out at the insane TDS people. You know what I mean? Like, that's what's funny.
So no, I didn't go MAGA. And to the president's credit, there was no pressure to. After we left the Oval Office, he showed me the little room off the office, you know, the one where Clinton used to. Okay. The blowjob room. Okay. Well, not anymore. That's where they keep the merch now.
Dude, there's never going to be anybody like Trump, ever. It's never going to happen. Is Drunk 3PO in the chat? What's up, Drunk 3PO? There's never going to be anybody like Trump.
It is. And he gave me a bunch of hats, but he didn't ask me to take a picture in one, which I appreciated. The guy I met is not the person who the night before the dinner shit-tweeted a bunch of nasty crap about how he thought this dinner was a bad idea and what a deranged asshole I was. I read it and thought, oh, what a lovely way to welcome someone to your house.
Dude, I love this fucking energy, dude. I love that we have this guy. He's just like, he is a absolute like freight train. He doesn't care. He does not care.
But when I got there, that guy wasn't living there. Now, does Trump want respect? Of course. Who doesn't? My friend said to me, what are you going to wear to the White House? I said, I don't know, but I'm not going to dress like Zelensky. I'll tell you that. But, okay. Just for starters, he laughs. I'd never seen him laugh in public, but he does, including at himself. And it's not fake. Believe me, as a comedian of 40 years, I know a fake laugh when I hear it. And I thank you for them. No. Okay, example. In the Oval Office, he was showing me the portraits of presidents, and he pointed to Reagan and said, in all seriousness, you know, the best thing about him, his hair. I said, well, there was also that whole bringing down communism thing, waiting for the button next to the Diet Coke button to get pushed and I go through the trap door. But no, he laughed, he got it. I said to him at one point, Mr. President, you know the dog, that's unusual in the White House. He said, well, a lot of the presidents, they had a dog for political reasons. I said, no, People love dogs. That's what that is. Oh, yeah. Okay, that's true.
I disagree. 100%. One of the reasons that presidents have dogs is to relate to the everyday American. Oh my gosh, look, they have a dog. They're just like me. They love dogs. It's 100% a political play. So Trump is right. 1000%. It's a political play to connect with everyday Americans. Oh, that Obama guy's just like me. You know? I know he's calling us all racist and he says all cops are terrible human beings and he's created a lot of racial division, but he's got a dog. He must be like me. Fuck that. I agree with Trump.
I'm telling you what happened. At one point, we were walking through it is an amazing tour of the whole house. And I don't remember exactly what we were talking about, but it must have been something with the 2020 election because I know he used the word lost. And I distinctly remember saying, wow, I never thought I'd hear you say that. He didn't get mad. He's much more self-aware.
He's said lost many times, and he says it in a sarcastic tone. He has said it. The media has tried to use that against him. Again, Bill Maher has only seen the side of Trump that he has wanted to see and the side that the media has wanted to see. He has said that he has lost many times in a very sarcastic tone. And if you've watched him enough, you know that.
And he lets on in public. Look, I get it. It doesn't matter who he is at a private dinner with a comedian. It matters who he is on the world stage. I'm just taking as a positive that this person exists because everything I've ever not liked about him was, I swear to God, absent, at least on this night with this guy. Bob, Kid Rock, told me the night before, he said, if you want to get a word in edgewise, you're going to have to cut him off. He'll just go on. Not at all. I've had so many conversations with prominent people who are much less connected, people who don't look you in the eye, people who don't really listen because they just want to get to their next thing, people whose response to things you say just doesn't track like, what? None of that with him. And he mostly steered the conversation to, what do you think about this? I know, your mind is blown, so's mine. There were so many moments when I hit him with a joke or contradicted something, and no problem. At dinner, he was asking me about the nuclear situation in Iran in a very genuine, hey, I think you're a smart guy, I want your opinion sort of way. And I said, well, obviously you're privy to things about it, I'm not, but for what it's worth, I thought the Obama deal was worth letting play out because we made Iran destroy NATO.
Only people with TDS and Democrats would hold it against you if you don't publicly try to virtue signal how good you are. All this does is it reinforces Trump's authenticity, that in private, he is a different person in terms of he treats you with respect. He has conversations, he laughs, but when he is public, he's a leader and he means business and he's there to get things done. He's not there to pretend that he's a great guy. He's not there to put a smile on his face and make you believe that everything's going to be good. He's there to be a fucking leader. And Democrats are going to go, oh, I just can't believe he's that way, but he won't show that side. Fuck off.
98% of the uranium, and they were 15 years away from a bomb. And then I said to him, but we got rid of that. You got rid of that. He didn't get mad or call me a left-wing lunatic. He took it in. I told him I thought parts of his...
Somebody says it makes him sound two-faced. You are retarded. Whoever said that, you are retarded. Do you know who's two-faced? Literally every fucking politician we've ever had that will get up on the stage and say all the politically correct things so that they can have good optics and make you think that they're a great guy. Barack Obama married to his wife so we can all believe that he's a straight man. George W. Bush sitting there pretending that he's a good old boy that you can have a beer with, even though he grew up with a fucking silver spoon in his mouth, but he had this relatable mentality about him. Bill Clinton pretending he was doing anything with Hillary other than throwing up every fucking night. Get out of here.
Plan for Gaza were wacky. but that I had supported him in the idea that Gaza could be Dubai instead of hell. I told him he was wrong when he tweeted the night before that I was critical of all things Trump. Not true. Check the tapes. Moving Israel's embassy to Jerusalem, loved it. The border did need to be controlled. I'm glad the cops are getting their morale back. DEI had gone too far. Biological men shouldn't be playing women's sports. Europe should pay for their defense. And of course, it makes sense that Arab countries should take in Arab refugees, like the million Syrians who wound up in Germany when Saudi Arabia took none. He said to me, "You're right, they took none." I said, "Well, you should remind your boyfriend in Saudi Arabia that the next time you see him." He laughed. I never felt I had to walk on eggshells around him. And honestly, I voted for Clinton and Obama, but I would never feel comfortable talking to them the way I was able to talk with Donald Trump. That's just how it went down. Make of it what you will. Me, I feel it's emblematic of why the Democrats are so unpopular these days. He was even okay when I checked him on the orangutan lawsuit. He was. You know, he said to Dana White, "You know, Bill said my father was an orangutan, and I really love my father." And I said, "Well, Mr. President, I did that because I didn't like what you were doing regarding Obama's birth origins. I thought that was low." Again, no anger, just a little smile as if to say, "Yeah, I get it."
But the thing is, like, Trump doesn't get angry. I've said this before, and I will say this again. Where is this idea that Trump is unhinged and loses his cool? Where is that from? Show me a clip of this man who has been world famous for 30 or 40 years now. Show me the clip where Donald Trump is unhinged or angry or losing his cool. Show me the clip. Show it to me. There's not a clip. This man has been in the public eye for my entire lifetime. There's no clip of Donald Trump losing his cool. None. But there's this idea that Donald Trump is unhinged. Why? Because you listen to the media, because you listen to the lies, because you've built up this fairy tale in your mind that's not there. There is no clip of Donald Trump losing his cool. It's just not.
The most surreal part of the whole night was when I got home. I flew back right after the dinner, and I'm in bed watching 60 Minutes from the night before. And there's Trump in one of their stories, standing at a podium in a room that looked to me like one of the rooms and places we'd just been in. And he's ranting, "Disgusting, you're a terrible person." And I'm like, who's that guy? What happened to Glinda the Good Witch? And why can't we get the guy I met to be the public guy? And I'm not saying it's our responsibility to do that. It's not. I'm just reporting exactly what I saw over 2.5 hours. I went into the mine, and that's what's down there. A crazy person doesn't live in the White House. A person who plays a crazy person on TV a lot lives there, which I know is fucked up. It's just.
I would love to ask Bill Maher, what do you mean by that? What is crazy about who Donald Trump is on TV? What is crazy about it? Because he tells the media that they lie? They do. Because he puts horrible reporters in check? He does. What is this crazy person on TV that you claim Donald Trump is doing? I don't understand it. He plays a leader because he is a leader. He portrays toughness because that's what you have to do in his position. That's who he's always been. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just like anything else. Like, look at someone like, I'm an Alabama football fan. Obviously, we don't have Nick Saban there anymore. If you see Nick Saban at practice, he was yelling and screaming at his players constantly. When you saw Nick Saban in press conferences, he was destroying the reporters. Do you think that's who he is in real life? No, but when he had to turn on who he was, that's who he was. There's nothing wrong with that. It's what Trump does.
Who plays a crazy person on TV a lot lives there, which I know is fucked up. It's just not as fucked up as I thought it was. And I have no illusions now that I'm back to work at my job that he might start a new list. Because I don't have a good feeling and will be critical about a lot of what he's doing, the trade war and disappearing people, ruling by decree, threatening judges, gutting the government with glee. But I also think he now understands I have a job to do, or at least he did on this night, because he said to me early on that he'd seen our last episode, which was the Friday before this dinner. And he said, I thought maybe you'd be nice, but you hit me really hard. I did. Because I'm not going to pull my punches that presidents get to propose a third term for themselves. He understood that, and without animus. That doesn't mean he's not going to try to do it. At one point, I said to him, you're scaring people. Do you really want to be scaring your own citizens so much? And I know now you're all saying, and what did he say to that? Honestly, I don't remember. But it wasn't, okay, I'll stop. So MAGA fans, don't worry. Your boy gave me nothing. Just hats. Hats and a very generous amount of time and a willingness to listen and accept me as a possible friend, even though I'm not MAGA, which was the point of the dinner.
Again, if Bill Maher, I'd love to be able to say, who exactly is Trump upsetting? Who is he scaring? Just so we can qualify. Because he's not scaring MAGA. So who is he scaring? Is he scaring people that put pronouns in their bio? Is he scaring people that are supportive of gender? What is it? Gender dysphoria? Is that what the term they go with? Is he scaring people that like to dress up as drag queens and dance in front of children? Is he scaring illegal immigrants? Is he scaring criminals? I don't give a fuck if that's who he's scaring. Who is he scaring? Because he's not scaring the 75, 80 million Americans that voted for him. He's certainly not scaring them. So he must be scaring a bunch of criminals and lunatics on the left. And for that, I don't give a fuck.
My favorite part of the whole night was we were standing in the blowjob room. We were. And he said, I've heard from a lot of people who really like that we're having this dinner. Not all, but a lot. And I said, same. A lot of people told me they loved it, but not all. And we agreed. The people who don't even want us to talk, we don't like you. Don't talk, as opposed to what? Writing the same editorial for the millionth time and making 25-hour speeches into the wind? Really, that's what liberals have? He takes the piss out of everybody else and we can hold ours? Okay, that's my report. You can hate me for it, but I'm not a liar. Trump was gracious and measured, and why he isn't that in other settings, I don't know, and I can't answer, and it's not my place to answer. I'm just telling you what I saw, and I wasn't high.
So that's the end of it right there. I thought it was pretty good. I mean, again, I'm not a big fan of Bill Maher, but it's his perspective on it, and it does seem like Bill Maher, he lives in Bill Maher world, which is a democratic world. He doesn't live in the real world like me and you. And so he has this idea of Donald Trump, and then he goes and sits down with him and learns like, oh, I guess he's not this horrible human being that I've built up. But it is what it is. Listen, and since Bill Maher claims to be a comedian, I've got some comedy for you guys. How about this clip right here? Okay. Now, I have to retract all of my criticism. This is a deleted scene from Snow White, and I have to retract it. I should not have walked out of this movie because, as I said, I walked out of Snow White. Okay. I walked out. I didn't see this part. If I would have saw this part, I probably would have given this movie a 10 out of 10. Okay.
I kind of want something other to eat.
Mm-hmm. Well, what would you like?
You got any biscuits for sale in there?
Oh my God, I love it so much.
Well, no, this here's a Frosty cream. We don't serve biscuits. We got a lot of other stuff, though.
What you got in there is good to eat.
Well, we got Big Sheep burgers, bongo burgers, footlongs, corny dogs, Frosty shakes, creamy bars. Did you want me to go through the whole list?
Reckon what you like to eat in there.
Oh my God, I love the internet so much. I was not prepared for this.
Well, the French fries are pretty good.
French fried potatoes.
Yep, French fries.
How much you want for them?
How much you want for them? How much you want for them? God, Sling Blade is such a great movie, by the way. If you've never seen Sling Blade, you should absolutely watch it. Billy Bob Thornton, phenomenal acting from him.
60 for the medium and 75 for large.
I reckon I'll have me some of the bacon.
So I should not have been so harsh to Snow White. So I retract all of my criticisms of the live action Snow White. Rachel Zegler did a phenomenal job, and I shouldn't have walked out. This is why you don't walk out of movies right there. I should not have walked out. So that's my fault. I shouldn't have done it. I feel bad now. All right, let's see here. Richard says, would love to see Trump work the crowd for a main event and announce the fighters. That would be awesome. It would. Z-Herb says, just saw one of those anti-Trump Twitter accounts ask why the president of El Salvador isn't wearing a suit and tie. These people are hopeless. I mean, it's a fair question, though. So 8 o'clock says, so Trump's making graphic cards cheaper. Let's make gaming great again. Storm Shadow says, Alex Jones should have been press secretary. Joe Bitt says, Trump helped produce Mania 4 and was in Mania 23, Battle of the Billionaires match. Vegas is UFC town, and they love Trump. Hope he gets a ramp entrance. It would be cool. I don't know, though. We'll see. JRG Projects for 20 says, to see the Trump White House behind the scenes, the TV show The West Wing is a great fictional take on a populist presidency. 90s Reagan Democrats share more in common with MAGA populism than a modern ideological conservative. I've never seen The West Wing. I've heard good things about The West Wing, but I've never seen it. So I may have to check that out. Z-Herb says, Tim had a good point on Bill meeting Trump. He's saying things as it's not presented publicly because they don't see him at his rallies and how he interacts with people at them. Yeah, I mean, it's, again, if you're so concerned with, if you are someone like Bill Maher, if you're so concerned with Donald Trump and the danger that he presents to the world, why don't you do a little bit of research on who he actually is instead of the media idea that has been created out there? Because I don't think they actually want the answer. They don't want the real answer. They just want to be outraged to be outraged. Brown Gaijin says, the moment when the White House staff dogpiled on CNN today reminded me of the scene in Airplane where people were too hysterical women to calm down. Where people told the hysterical woman to calm down. It was a great scene, wasn't it? Gold Nugget says, I had some food truck in my throat, so I had to wait. What are you saying? I had some food stuck in my throat, so I had to think of Anna Paulina Luna to throw up enough to not choke. I would. What the hell, Golden Nuggets? Golden Nuggets. Golden Nuggets. Golden Nuggets.
Fuck these people.
Golden Nuggets. Anyway, Baron becomes a new member. Thank you. Modalicious, Donald Trump is an orangutan. Udite says Trump didn't lose his cool when they shot at him. So yeah, you're not going to find any clips of him losing his cool. Yes, exactly. Ort for $1. Patriotic Cat says, Bill, let's unite as people. Also, Bill, MAGA relax. Exactly. McCock says, are you funny? Haha. Or are you funny? What McCock says, been drinking since 21 p.m. Let's go Astros. 21 p.m. there for you, McCock. Tinhead says Snow White is the only thing I've seen self-implode harder than the Titan submarine. Panic and Skyfaller says Blue Sky is melting down over Bill saying kind words about Trump. It's wild what they're saying. Is like, does Jack Dorsey still own Blue Sky? Like at one point in time, Jack Dorsey was like the owner, or didn't he start it? I don't know if he's still in charge of it or what. I'm not sure. So I'm sure somebody in the chat will inform me here in just a minute. It's 5:00 somewhere. When is Blue Sky not melting down? That is true. That is true. Jack already left, so he already left. Jeez. Yeah, man. What a disaster. I don't know. I see Jack Dorsey on Twitter more than anything. So, but I think I might have created a Blue Sky handle, but I've never been on the site. I know nothing about it. I see the only access I see to Blue Sky is when these losers on Twitter that are crying about Elon or Trump, and I click on their profile and it's got their Blue Sky link, and it's like, but you're still on Twitter. You're still here. So why are you promoting Blue Sky on Twitter and you're still on Twitter? It's so fucking weird, man. These people are very, very broken. But what do you expect? Let's see. You Me the Movie says he said it was becoming exactly what Twitter was before Elon bought it. Is that what he said? Really? I mean, that's what it was always going to be. Twitter is a significantly better platform now than it was, just because of the ideas and the things you can say and the things you can talk about. But I mean, Twitter is meant to make people fight. That's what it's designed for. So, oh, my buddy's here. The fire rises. Hang on. I swear, dude. Where'd you go? D-Day Cobra is a hypocrite. You have been here since like the beginning of CobraCast yelling about me. It hasn't worked. Nothing you've said works. I don't know who you are, but I'm so happy when you show up. How many of you remember this clown? This clown's been here forever. He's like, you voted for Obama. And I'm like, no, I didn't. The first person I ever voted for was Donald J. Trump. It's the first president I ever voted for. But yeah. Although I don't like how you use the Dark Knight Rises line. That's not cool. So you shouldn't be using that. It's Epic Mike. You think it's Epic Mike? That would be cool. That would be funny. Cosmo says, I think someone doesn't know the definition of hypocrite. I don't think that Fire Rises account knows much of anything. But I have made a lot of money off of that clown. Let me see. There was by the way, covering WrestleMania this weekend over on Locals. Okay, we are covering WrestleMania all weekend on Locals. So hopefully you will go over there, hang out with us, watch party all weekend. And I do remember this moment right here. And for because some people don't get it, some people don't understand it. Wrestling is entertainment, but sometimes there are real things that happen within wrestling. And this is one real thing that happened, because the match never actually happened because these guys really hated each other at their peak. I hope I can play this. I hope I can get away with this. By the way, look who's in the picture. Chris Benoit is right there. But what's interesting here is that we never got a match between Stone Cold Steve Austin and Hulk Hogan. Watch this right here. This is real shit right here.
You know, I was going through my bag in the back.
They're chanting Austin Hogan because everybody wanted an Austin Hogan match. Everyone wanted one. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. But it never happened. It never happened. Let's go. Oh, man, that would have been the greatest match of all time. But Austin and Hogan did not get along very well, and they could not come to an agreement on the match. So it didn't happen. Fuck. Would have been so good, man. Would have been the best match ever. Oh, well. And I just saw that in my bookmarks, and I wanted to show that to everybody really quick. Would have been the greatest moment of all time. Sad, but it didn't happen. But do you know what did happen, ladies and gentlemen? Katy Perry and many other brave women went to space today, everyone. That's right. Katy Perry and other brave, stunning women went to space and connected with their strong, divine, feminine energy. Let's listen to what Katy Perry had to say.
It is the highest high, and it is surrender to the unknown, trust, and this whole journey is not just about going to space. It's the training, it's the team, it's the whole thing. I couldn't recommend this experience more. This is like up there with all the, different tools that I've learned in my life, from meditation to the Hoffman process. This is up there because what you're doing is you're like really finding the love for yourself, because you got to trust in yourself on this journey, and then you're feeling the love.
Now I'm just asking questions here. Have we confirmed that she didn't just go on the Mission Space ride at Walt Disney World? Because that's a pretty intense ride. Have we confirmed that she actually didn't just go on that ride and they just told her you're going to space? Because if you've ever done the Mission Space ride at Walt Disney World, that ride is fucking crazy, by the way. I've only done that ride once in my life, and I'll never do it again because it's fucking crazy. So maybe that's what happened.
When you come down, for sure, and you're feeling that strength. So I feel really connected to that strong, divine feminine right now.
By the way, you're such a badass. I love that the month of April, you're like, I'm going to space and I'm launching my tour.
It is the highest.
So as I said right here, a man's money paid for this, typical female accomplishment, because that's exactly what it was. You did nothing. You're just a celebrity that they decided that would get some attention. And apparently, and I didn't see, Quartering retweeted something. Let me see if I can find this clip that Quartering retweeted. It was something to do with the cringiness of the moment or something like that. Okay. So Quartering retweeted this. He says, I knew it would be cringe, but I was not prepared for it to be this cringe. I have not seen this clip yet. I have not seen this.
Got it? 1, 2, 3. Take up space! Tamir's in space. It's okay. Leave Flynn up there. Flynn, bye. Flynn, I gotcha. Flynn.
Gotcha. Proud of you, Flynn. Oh, the moon. You guys, I will have to tell you, look at the moon. That's amazing.
Wow, look at the blue line. Oh my gosh. Oh my God.
Wow.
Oh my That's our pink moon.
Okay. Now it's time to look out.
Oh my
Space
gosh.
colors.
So much. Oh my gosh.
Whoa. That's amazing. God.
Good Lord. I have to agree with the Quartering. It was that cringy. That is astonishing that it was that cringy. I was not prepared for that level. Oh God. Jeez. Well, there you go. I hate everything right now. I hate everything. Everything. Panic the Skywalker says Jack literally said he left because it was asinine. Taker says Maher is complaining that Trump exercising his power as president makes him crazy. Bernie thinks a democratically elected president is a dictator. This is true. Yes, 21 p.m. military time, says Macaque. Oracle of Doom says, is it just me? Or would Rhea Ripley make the perfect Abby for Last of Us Season 2? Hail Cobra Commander, hail the 199. She would, but they won't cast her because that makes too much sense. You know what I mean? So let's see. And Spectre says, can we get, is it Nax Tuku on G&G? He's a VTuber who's been posting Trump dubs discussing similar topics in your sphere. Lately, he's been posting vids on Hassan Piker's L's. Great dude. I'll check it out. I'm not like, and I'm not saying I'm not into collaborations. I don't actively look to collaborate with other YouTubers. If it happens naturally or organically, that's cool. But I try not to, I'm not that big on collabing with just random everyday people that I see on YouTube, unless there's like a real reason to do it, not just like, hey, let's connect and grow our audiences together. Like I find that to be cringe. And there's so many people out there that are just interested in like internet drama and retarded bullshit that I just don't get involved in a lot of that stuff. And I've become a recluse in the YouTube world. I stick to the people that I know, and that's kind of it. I don't really like doing the collab stuff unless it's organic, but I will check it out because I'd like to see that content. Dread says, can you imagine if the spaceship suddenly just exploded? Would our planet be better or worse off? Do you think I am, or am I heartless for saying that? Think you're just saying what a lot of people are thinking, buddy. Let's see. Bad Brother says, wrestling is a fake. It's choreographed. Big difference. Set ringside at any show and find out. Well, I mean, you're preaching to me because I've done wrestling shows before, promoted wrestling shows. Anybody that thinks wrestling's fake is retarded. Wrestling is one of the most physical, sports out there. It is a true competition, and wrestlers, it's probably not as bad as it used to be, but back in the day, wrestlers would be on the road 300 plus days a year, wrestling with broken bones, wrestling with their backs being hurt, wrestling with injuries like you wouldn't believe. These guys back in the day used to just grind on the road nonstop, putting it all on the line. And it's much more, it's a different world now because it's so corporatized. But back in the day, it actually used to be legit. Like the Attitude Era, there was legitimate competition in the locker room as to who's going to be the top guy, who's going to earn the audience's respect, who's going to be the top guy. It's a little bit more different now because it's like who's going to be chosen to be the top guy. But like, for instance, Stone Cold Steve Austin, there was never a plan for Stone Cold Steve Austin to be the top guy. He was never like, we have to elevate this guy because he's got all what it takes. No, Stone Cold Steve Austin changed the fucking industry because he was determined to change the industry. There's nothing fake about what Stone Cold Steve Austin did. He changed the industry and saved it in a lot of ways because of his determination, not because he was picked to be the top guy. Let's see here. Nightcall says, they got to go to space and will still complain about how women aren't privileged enough in America. 100%. Absolutely. Thomas Jones says, been here since The Last Jedi. Did Katie wear a diaper? Finding the love, by the way. Let's see. Why do you like Sydney Sweeney so much? I think Sydney Sweeney's hot. I think it's just that the internet has just like gone crazy over Sydney Sweeney. I think Sydney Sweeney's attractive for two main reasons. But I mean, she's not like my number one or anything like that, but she's hot. She's definitely hot. But the internet loves Sydney Sweeney. Two big reasons. Shadow Saiyan says, oh, and by the way, thank you for being here since The Last Jedi. This is amazing. Shadow Saiyan says, we're throwing plastic into space instead of the ocean now. Nice. JRG Project says, these are voyages of the USS Tampon Tim. Patriotic Cat says, the moon in space. What an amazing discovery. Taker says, maybe someone already has said it, but needs to cut the Austin Powers gag with the launch of Bezos' rocket. It looks like a giant. Yes, 100%. Modalicious says the jingling bells remind me of every time someone snorted those beers in Airplane and others 70s and 80s movies. Rob says, Jeremy, did you happen to catch the audio feed of The Descent? It was hilarious. Ort 199. I did not. 8 o'clock says Nux is fake as hell. He's fake MAGA. Coop says, long-time watcher, first-time listener, Bezos rocket sucks. They can't even get the self-destruct button to work. Thank you, Coop. It's great that you're first-time, long-time watcher, first-time listener. We always appreciate when we have those types of people here. What do you mean, those people? You know what I mean by those people. Let's see here. What was this? There's another clip that I wanted to show. What is this? Pam Bondi doing more interviews. It's all Pam Bondi does interviews. Yes, Sydney Sweeney and what's her name? Was in it's the show White Lotus or something. And what's her name? Daddario, is that her name? And Daddario looks a lot better than Sydney Sweeney in that show. I think that's her name. Good Lord. Right here. Give me just a minute. I'm pulling this up. Yeah, Daddario, is that her name? Yeah. She looks better than Sydney Sweeney in that show. 100%. Not in the show, but like Sydney Sweeney's pretty hot. No doubt about that. Oh, look at here.
Became Burnchella. That's right. Bernie Sanders taking the Coachella stage to rant and rave about President Trump and billionaire oligarchs to a crowd of kids who paid at least $600 to be there.
He charged people $600 to show up? Are you kidding me? Good Lord. I don't know what Bernie's plan is here. There's no way he's going to be able to run at the top of the ticket. There's no way.
Feel the burn, and AOC also bringing their socialist message to LA and Utah.
Now we got a president of the United States who, I agree, the future of what happens to America is dependent upon your generation. We're going to sing and dance our way to victory against hatred and divisiveness.
An extreme concentration of power, greed, and corruption is taking over this country like never before.
We believe in democracy. We are not going to let Trump take us into an authoritarian society.
All right, so talk.
Good Lord, man.
Iris, I did not see Bernie going to Coachella.
Why not?
Why not?
So the cheap, by the way, I hate to disagree with you. That's a disagreement between you and me. Sorry, I'm keeping a list.
What do we have?
The $600 was the cheap seats.
That was the cheap seats.
Those are the cheap seats. If you want to sit up close, I believe it was a little more, almost $1,100. I think it's amazing that a socialist has a speaking fee, by the way. I wonder how much of that money went to the good people of Sanders, probably to help build his mansion. This is laughable. When you are speaking about a wrong, you shouldn't have to look down at a piece of paper.
Yeah, that's a good point.
If you are speaking about injustice,
Yep.
I need to, and that's all you need to see.
I agree. I don't have notes. I don't take notes. I have no notes. I have nothing. I read super chats, not well sometimes, mispronounce words. But I'm talking, just being authentic with everything I say. I get asked a question. If I know the answer, I'll give you the answer. If I can't, I was like, I don't know. But these clowns have all this stuff prepared in front of them, and they still sound like idiots.
Is that they are just saying things with no actual facts behind it. It's not a battle for.
You know what's funny is a lot of these clowns that paid $600 to go to see Bernie Sanders' speech. I bet they were online talking about how outraged they are at video game prices. I bet. I'm not saying they're the only ones, but I'm just saying I bet that a lot of these same people are those people. It's like, okay, you just spent $600 to go see fucking Bernie.
For Gen Z, common sense versus BS. And that's BS. Bernie Sanders goes out there and tells a bunch of people who can afford to be there how bad their lives are. But every one of them can afford $20 lemonades, $30 cheeseburgers, and continue to cheer and have. That's a rough life. Those guys were hurting. And then you know what the worst part of that night was? The long line of valet. Unbelievable that they had to wait up to 20 to 45 minutes for their valet. Times are tough for them right now in America, where guys, President Trump has capital.
Somebody said they paid $600 to see Green Day. Was Green Day there? Is that how they tricked people into like going there? They had Green Day. Is that it? I don't know. I saw Billy Joe crying about Trump again yesterday. So really? So that's what it was? That's how they got people to show up and see them? Was they got Green fucking Day? Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Relies on my favorite thing in the world, common sense. And when you have common sense, it brings everybody together. Why? It's common sense.
Jeremy doesn't know what Coachella is. I mean, I learned it's like some fucking I guess it's almost like some amphitheater or something like that where Hollywood does a lot of their shows and musicians show up there. I've never been and I would never want to go, but I guess that's what it is.
These crowds that they're getting, Dana, are these the same crowds Bernie's always gotten for the last 20 years? Are these new people?
Well, some of them are younger than the crowds you used to get, but it's the same type, right? So there's always been fringes, left and right.
It's a music festival. Okay. Well, again, I'm not going. So California's not my place.
Sanders probably always could have gotten these crowds. He has a following, might be a little bit more than usual because they've got a big promoter and they've got that dark money, that sweet, sweet dark money that's helping. But they are also raising money because people are willing to pay what they are doing now. I think one of the things they'll find, though, is that the energy they have in the Democratic Party that's on the far left, that will maybe help for the far left candidates in the primaries that are to come, right? They have now some younger people that are wanting to take on some of the old guard. And that kind of energy for younger people who know how to use the phones, that can help them win to become the candidate. But I think it will hurt them in the general elections because of the way people have been voting. And we saw that just 8 months ago in 2024. I would also add that the Republicans have all the energy on their side when it comes to the number of young people that voted for Trump. And if they can hold on to that for the next election, then you have young people voting for your party, the Republicans, in 2 elections. That means that just typically in their life, they will probably vote Republican their whole life.
Yeah, she did kind of stuttering Dana there for a minute. She was glitching out, wasn't she?
Driving their parents absolutely crazy.
Let's get them. Let's keep it going. So moderate Democrats, when they see Bernie and AOC out there getting crowds like this, does that make you guys nervous?
No, but it makes me realize that we forget that politics is about addition. It probably would have been better for President Trump to be there and for those people to have been at the UFC. I would have preferred to go to the UFC myself, because at the end of the day, just speaking over and over and over again to the very people who agree with everything that you agree with,
yes,
doesn't necessarily
a great
bring you
point
any more
from
voters
Harold.
when
That's
it
a
all
great
gets said and
point.
done. It would have been interesting to hear Bernie or Mr. Sanders and the Congresswoman from New York say, we believe we should cut taxes and regulations on small businesses. We believe that the first $50,000 of earned income on someone should be tax-free, payroll tax-free. And in fact, President Trump, we agree with you. When you brought and had President Zelensky in the Oval Office with you and you proposed a rare earth mineral deal, probably the greatest thing our country can do to reduce our reliance on China over the next 20 years and going where that puck is going, what I was trying to say, Judge, is to make it where China, who has threatened us with halting rare earth mineral
this is where the fucking internet, like everything, all of our devices are listening to everything. This is like at the top of my news feed right here from Colin Rugg as we were talking about this. About 60% of Coachella attendees finance their tickets to attend the festival, according to Billboard. What? If you need to take out a loan to go to Coachella, you shouldn't be going to Coachella. There have been 100,000 attendees each weekend for the festival, and over half of them are financing their tickets. The ticket price is around $600, but most festival goers are spending over $1,000 for housing and food as well. The payment plan starts with a down payment of as low as $50. What the fuck is going on? We are screwed as a society. Oh my God. Yeah, this doesn't look like the type of people I would like to hang out with. Oh boy, got a mask on. What is that? What the hell is that? A lot of drunk chicks. A lot of drunk chicks. Oh my goodness. These people financed their trip. Well, one thing I see some people in the comments making some references to some of the ladies. I've learned on the internet to be very, very careful about making any comments about women until I find out how old they are, because good Lord, man, the parents of these young girls are terrible because they allowed these young girls to try to dress to look older. It's absolutely fucking terrifying. It's crazy. So I always refrain from making comments until I'm until I've got confirmation of anything, or the fact that sometimes they turn out to be dudes. Sometimes they turn out to be dudes. That's just the reality of it. Welcome to 2025, where hot chicks turn out to be dudes. You better be careful.
Exports from their country to ours. If we had to deal with Ukraine,
poor
that stopped Russia and gave us an opportunity to build our economy for the future. That's what politics should be about. And that's what I'm hoping, whether it's Bernie Sanders or whether it's someone else on my party, that's what we should be talking about.
Harold suggested that AOC and Bernie go to a UFC fight, Judge.
Oh, that would be
What do you think
great.
that entrance would look like?
You need to run for office. I would go in a minute.
Here is the difference, okay? First of all, you've got two totally different audiences. The UFC audience, you've got a lot of blue collar, family, working class. You've got everyone is family. There's people who love a fight. And the difference, not with each other.
Family and love a fight. I don't know if I'd call UFC a family event, but I understand what she's saying. But I don't know if I'd call it a family event.
You're right. Not with each other. But the difference is the reaction. Donald Trump walks in and immediately the place explodes. And what do? They start singing and chanting, USA, USA. The man doesn't have to, the president doesn't have to get up, say one word, try to sell a political message. He walks in and bang, 18,000 people are united in supporting him and the United States of America. Now, juxtapose that to what's going on at Coachella. You got an 83-year-old guy trying to talk to Generation Z, a political speech, when half of them are high and they're half dressed. They're trying to, they're paying $700 to $1,500 to get a ticket, $30 for a sandwich. And he's trying to preach to them about how bad it is. He's talking about climate change, racism, capitalism. He's politicizing a music event. If they weren't so stoned, they would have booed him out.
They never really chant USA at Bernie rallies, do they?
Can you imagine President Trump at Coachella doing this? I mean, he'd have a great
He would eventually break them down.
Yeah, he would.
He would break them down.
Exactly.
He'd do lemonades for everybody. He'd be the greatest lemonade of all time.
President's got to go to Coachella next year. Yeah. That's it.
All right.
Up next, Bill Maher.
Let's see here. Scroats Bagoat says, wrong, Burger, you're a madman. That Blue Origin rocket will never fly. Let's see. Dark Schwartz Rising says, and even the vacuum of space can't silence her awful voice. Mr. Blue Sky says, the irony of Bernie ranting like this about this and Coachella of all places, LOL. There's no festival in the U.S. more corporate than Coachella. They are so effing dumb. Yeah, wasn't Katy Perry, wasn't she with what's-his-face a long time ago? The right wing's favorite fucking Hollywood weirdo, Russell Brand, right? Wasn't it wasn't her and Russell Brand a thing for a while, and that's really where he kind of started to become famous, right? I don't really know how I feel about Russell Brand. I don't feel like I can trust him. I still don't feel like he's trustworthy, but I don't know. Russell Brand just seems like, I don't think he's like a terrible leftist lunatic, but I just don't trust him, man. There's just something about him that just doesn't, I don't know, doesn't vibe. So maybe that's me. I don't know. A lot of conservative people like him, but I'm not really a fan personally. So they were married. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, they were married. Okay. Well, congrats to him on that. Taker says there has been a leak from the new Harry Potter show. James Potter finds do-rag Voldemort in Gryffindor, and Voldemort stabs him when told to leave. Yeah, I covered that. I made a truck video earlier talking about that. I think that's going to be a huge thing moving forward. So, or says the party that wants to be in charge of the United States finance takes out loans to go to the music festivals. Apparently, that's mind blowing to me. Zinni Biscuit says the trial and verdict will come out next year for the midterms. Yeah, that's a good point. Mitchell Field says, wait, Katy Perry in space? I am shocked. Absolutely shocked. The quartering talked about something other than the price of food. Hail to the quartering. I'm a fan of the quartering. I'm a fan. All right, where are we at? There's another clip that I wanted to show everybody. What is this? It was Stephen Miller. I had bookmarked it earlier. Stephen Miller is so on point. Like, he's got to be one of the most on point people. Let's see. Where's it at? My bookmarks. I love, like, anytime Stephen Miller gets in front of the microphone, you know he is going to be a smackdown. The dude is just absolutely savage, and they can't do anything with him. Oh, before then. All right, so JD Vance fucked up today. JD Vance fumbles the national championship trophy while hosting his alma mater, Ohio State University, for the ceremonial White House visit. Here we go. Oh, that's bad. That is very, very bad. Like, that is super cringe. But to be fair to him, it doesn't look like it's put together very well. Let's slow-mo this. All right, let's break this down. Let's slow-mo this. All right, speed. Let's go to half speed. All right, let's break this down, okay? So JD picks it up. Yeah, it's really not his fault. It's really not his fault, I don't think. Let's slow this down a little bit more. We're gonna break this down and find out what exactly happened here. Here we go. All right, so they pick it up, and it kind of just comes apart. Like, I don't know how that's JD's fault. It looks like it wasn't even super glued together, for crying out loud. And boom. Like, it's a Temu trophy. It's a Temu trophy. Damn it. It's still embarrassing. It's still embarrassing. So, but it doesn't appear that it's 100% his fault. That's my assessment of the situation right there. What is this? I think, yeah, this is one of the clips I was looking for earlier, right here. Here we go.
What they've done to us at the border should never and can never be forgotten. It's a sin, what they did. And you are helping us out, and we appreciate it.
Actually, what you're doing with the border is remarkable. It has dropped, what, 95%? It's incredible.
Got, as of this morning, 99%, 99.1% to be exact.
Why are those numbers not in the media?
Well, they get out with the fake news, you know, like CNN over here doesn't want to put them out because they don't like putting out good numbers. They only like putting out because I think they hate our country, actually.
Trump is so fucking funny, man. And he's so right. He's 100% right. They do. CNN absolutely hates our country. I mean, there's really that's not even a debate. It's not a discussion to be had. CNN hates our country. The people working for CNN hate our country. That's just a fact. And anyone denying that reality is just that you shouldn't even be, you shouldn't even be trying to pay attention to them because they're not interested in having a legitimate conversation at all. So, all right, let me see here. Modalicious says, vacuum, OnlyFans space. I thought they were going up there to vacuum space. Shadow Sand says, Gary going or was the highlight of FNT. If you can please watch it. I'll have to see if he found it because I'm about to have to end because we have a local stream coming up. I will watch it though. Your Barmy says, what a piece of garbage, get MAGA trophy. Panic of Skywalker says, oh no. Mitchell Field says, on the new Mario Kart game cover, DK is throwing a cheeseburger. Word on the street is Beardo stole all the bananas. I can't wait, man. We are going to have some lit Mario Kart streams when that comes out. I cannot wait. Blue Out Scorpio says, Scope Vance Twitter post how he owned that moment. Really? Okay. Shadow says this trophy knew something about Hillary Clinton. So Vance owned up to the moment. Let's see here. JD Vance right here. Oh, here we go. Here it is. I didn't want Ohio State to get the trophy, or let's see, I didn't want anyone after Ohio State to get the trophy, so I decided to break it. Dude, this guy is so on point. How can you not love JD Vance? How can you not love this guy? Self-awareness is the best thing ever. Absolutely awesome, man. Fan-freaking-tastic. How can you not respect this guy? Amazing stuff. Let's see here. I'm looking to see. Hey, mods, can you guys drop that part in the FNT and give me that timestamp again if you guys can find it so I can look at it? I don't know if I know Eric K was going to look at it, but I don't see it in the group chat. So we will see if we can find that really quick. Now, again, we're going to be live on Locals watching Monday Night Raw tonight. So if you guys have not become a member, you should totally do that. And again, a ton of content, a ton of bang for your buck over there. If you want to support us over there, we would greatly appreciate it. Again, last weekend, you could watch with us. It's still up, but like we watched the Masters, we watched the UFC fights. We're going to be playing a lot of games with everyone over there. We got movie watch parties. We got a lot on the plate. And I think that there's a lot of value there for sure. Shaka Zulu says, how is JD Vance so memeable and respectable at the same time? It is weird, man. He really is memeable. He is a meme machine. This is why he is the guy moving forward. He is absolutely going to be the guy. Let's see. Maximus BT with the 99 cents. He didn't even say where my breeds at. Didn't even say it. Raw is over. What time did it start? Am I wrong about that? I didn't get a notification. I don't think. I don't know what time. They've been all over the place. So probably started. What did it start like an hour ago? 23250. Let me see if I can find this timestamp really quick. Nerdrotic is toxic. Because that's what you get when you type Nerdrotic's name is Nerdrotic is toxic. Live 232. What is it? 232.50. Okay. 232.50. 232.50. Okay, here we go.
My Invisalign, you know, like. I'm out. I'm actually due to switch them out. So
maybe you were randomly grinding your teeth or something.
I probably was. Yeah. Shadow Saiyan 737 for $49.99. Oh God.
This one's evil.
Or like iron ore blame Beardo. Am I reading off of things so you can deep fake me now? Probably.
Oh no. I think he like stuttered around a fucking word and he sounded like a seal temporarily. And that became a meme somehow. I don't know.
Oh, and Jeremy's going to lean into it and it'll be a meme for the next 3 years. Because I never do that. As looking at
Homosexual.
You know, I wonder if as for a temporary time will come back to the show. I wonder. I'll just leave it there. Not another dime.
Oh man, good shit, Shadow saying. That's good right there. or. Let's see where we're at. Maximum BT says, fine, where my breed's at. Coop says, what do you mean, you people? What do you mean, you people? Jeremy's laugh, that was worth the price of admission right there. That was pretty damn good. That was good. I love the stupidity of our little corner of the internet. And I've learned that the other day, like I'd given a channel a shout out, like a Nintendo channel that I watch. I watch a lot of these guys, and they don't kind of get into the culture war stuff that we deal with and all that. I'd actually messaged him and I was like, hey bro, great video. Appreciate what you do. And I says, I was going to comment on your video, but I don't want to bring you any negativity. He goes, what do you mean? And he didn't know who I was. I'm like, I'm a Trump supporter. No need in bringing all that shit to your, front door. So he was reacting to my video, on Geeks and Gamers. And, he was like, oh man, this guy's got like 400,000 subscribers and he gave me a shout out and all that. And I was in his comments. I was in the live stream. I was like, dude, I'm telling you right now, like you being nice to me, you're going to get the fucking people that follow you. You're going to fucking annihilate you. Like you better be careful talking nice about me. Cause I already know these fucking people. So he's reacting to my video. And in the video, I pulled up one of my tweets where I said that these gender confused weirdos are blaming President Trump for the price increase of the Switch 2. And my God, like the meltdown in his chat. Well, there was a lot of people that were laughing like, fuck yeah, call him out. But then there was like a few people that were crying in his comments and he had to apologize for me. He's like, sorry guys, if anyone was offended by what he said, I just want to let you know, don't agree with these views. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like, I can't process a world where I'm scared of my audience or my friends. I can't process that world. Like I'm going to say what I'm going to say. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And I'm going to have the opinions I'm going to have. And I'm not going to be scared to give those opinions. I'm not any scared of my friends because I might like a movie or a video game. It's fucking wild. And it just reminds me of how lucky we are in this whole little, like the fellowship and the 199, that we don't live in that world. If I go see a movie and I like it, I'm going to tell you, who cares? Like, I'm not going to apologize for my fucking opinions. And I would never ask anybody that's in this chat to apologize for yours. You do whatever the fuck you want. You like what you like. And that's perfectly fine with me. And even like the whole thing with the Angry Joe, he's clearly terrified of his friends and his audience. Just like publicly, he's not allowed to, be nice to me. He talks because I'm a Trump supporter. And in his warped view, he has to be like, oh, this guy's a clown. He's just a big Trump guy and all that. And I've already said 1,000 times, I lean in to my support for Trump just to get ahead of the meltdowns of it. I want people to know, yes, I am a Trump supporter. You need to know that right now, because I don't need to hear you fucking crying about it after the fact. Now, maybe you don't agree with me, and that's totally fine. But I just need to establish at the door that I'm a Trump supporter, so you can either get your fucking feelings out of the fucking way so we can deal with it. You can either cry and move on, or you can accept that maybe we agree, or maybe you can accept that we disagree. But I don't have time for fucking pathetic, gender-confused, fucking mentally ill freaks watching my channel. I just don't have time for it. I don't have time for emotionally unstable people that can't deal with a different opinion watching my channel. I just can't deal with it. I don't have patience for it. I don't fucking care. Maybe it's because I worked retail for so long and I had to put up with people's bullshit, and I'm just not doing it anymore. So that's why, like, I lean into my being a Trump supporter so much, because I want people to know so that they can go ahead and make their decision. Feel how you feel about me. I don't give a fuck, but this is who I am. Make your judgment and let's move on with our fucking life. So anyway, where are we at? Ort says, I did not really think this would take off. LOL. It's your fault too. Trump Tuber says, Jeremy, how does Locals work? Need a YouTube video commercial. I mean, essentially, think of Locals as a Patreon alternative. That's what it is. It's a Patreon alternative. Now you can follow. I'll just show you Locals right now. I'll show you Locals. Let's go to Locals right now. So here's how Locals works, essentially. All right. So here's Locals, okay? And think of it like a Facebook group almost, okay? So this is the news feed on Locals. If you are a member of Locals, you can post to the news feed just like you would a Facebook group. If you are a follower, but you're not a paid supporter, you can still see a lot of the conversations going on. You just can't interact with them. And then sometimes during our live streams, we'll make it supporters only, because we are watching footage that, we couldn't watch on YouTube and shit like that. Covering things that we don't have to worry about, getting hit with like a stupid bullshit copyright claim and all of that. But yeah, like you would be able to post this feed right now, and other supporters can interact with it, things like that. Like this right here. That's me posting, and it says it's a supporter only post. There's Ghost Crusaders TV posting to the feed. A lot of people don't know that, but like right there's Andrew CR posting. There's Just G posting, Tommy Tron posting. So you as a supporter could post to that feed, and you can also jump into the live chat, and you can respond with memes and GIFs in the live chat. You can post memes in there in real time, all of that shit. So, it is what it is. So what we're trying to do there is we're trying to use Locals to build up the money so we can revamp our website, but that takes a lot of fucking money. In order to make a website where we can stream directly on the website and have the infrastructure that we want to have, it's a fuck ton of money. And we want to use Locals as that opportunity to try to, build that revenue up over there so we can rebuild the website in the way that we want. But that's going to take a lot of time and a lot of money. So anyway, if you guys want to check us out over there, feel free to do that. We would appreciate it. Let's see. John freaking Murdoch says, you're a Trump supporter? Since when? There goes the stream. You're damn right. John freaking Murdoch. Okay, guys, thank you so much. Awesome stream. Good to be back as always. And I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's show. I'll see you over there on Locals. So if you guys want to come over there, hang out with us, we would appreciate it. And then this weekend is WrestleMania watch party. It's going to be awesome. So hope you guys will check us out. 8 o'clock says, how many more members till FurryCon for Ryan? Quite a few, actually. We're ways off there. But so we need quite a few. So make sure you go over there and follow us. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Have a good evening. We'll talk to all of you later.